Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Open Day 2021. It's fantastic to see you here this afternoon in one of our most exciting sessions for this evening, our Bachelor of Hospitality Management. Today, I'm joined by two absolute superstars in the hospitality space, our head of program, Glenn Murray, and also a current student of ours, Katrina Lowe. Glenn Murray, who's our program manager for tourism and hospitality, Glenn has lived and breathed hospitality for over 25 years, which is incredibly important for all of our students coming through. He has a vast experience in several sectors of the industry, including international hotels and resorts, restaurants, multinational hospitality sectors, events and event companies. He's traveled the world, worked extensively throughout Europe, the UK and the Americas in search of the true hospitality experience, which is something which is incredibly hard to find. Glenn has a master's in international hospitality and hotel management, and he also won the Dean's Medal for Academic Excellence and the award, which was for the most outstanding graduate. He's currently completing his Master's of Research and a PhD in Hospitality and Tourism. And Glenn is one of the many student mentors here at ICMS, guiding each and every one of our students on a day-to-day basis and building a successful foundation for their future career. So Glenn, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a real privilege to have you here.
Thanks, Phil. Excited to be here. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Sunday. Yeah, thank you for joining us on the big day. And Katrina, also joining us today, is a fantastic current student of ICMS who is studying the Bachelor of Hospitality Management here. Previously went to school in Shanghai, which is obviously not just around the corner, made the journey over to Australia to start studying here. Has those bronze, silver and gold Duke of Edinburgh awards, which is an amazing achievement in itself. So congratulations, Katrina. But she has also received her ICMS Professional Scholarship upon commencement of studying here at ICMS, and is also currently a peer-assisted learning mentor, which is a program where students tutor and volunteer their time to assist other students in subjects as part of the ICMS community. So that's fantastic to see. So Katrina, welcome today. I'm really excited to hear from your point of view shortly from a student perspective. And for those of you watching today, just so you know, we'll hear from Glenn, we'll hear from Katrina, and then we'll have a quick Q&A at the end. So please make sure you send through your questions on the little blue button there, which says send questions to the MC. I'd love to get the questions through to these two today. So I think without further ado, I'd love to hand over to Glenn to hear from our head of program. I'm really excited to hear about this fantastic course. So over to you.
Thanks, Phil. Again, yeah, really excited to be here. Welcome to everyone to ICMS, and more importantly to the Bachelor of Hospitality Management information session. As I said, we're excited to be able to show you a little bit around the degree today and look at some of the key features that hopefully you'll be joining us to work through in the near future. So let's get underway. I guess firstly, we should talk about you. Who are you? What are you all about? So for us, it's about what you're about. Who are you? To work into hospitality, you need to be a special type of person, and so you need to have passion about service, desire to travel, which I guess is not too hard. You need to be organised. You need to be friendly. You need to have a fun-loving attitude, and you also need to enjoy making others happy. Because hospitality is not just about carrying a plate and serving a drink. It's also about creating that experience that I was talking about earlier and creating those memories, those special memories for our customers. It's also about developing a set of transferable skills as well, not just the soft service skills, but also those business management skills as well. So what might that lead to? Well, it might lead to one of these particular areas for you to finish up in. And it might be just that you're looking at running your own business quite possibly. So we've got hospitality or hotel management, hotel sales and marketing, accommodation management, guests relations, and airline management. And also too, you might look at resort and spa. You might be just looking to open up your own business, perhaps maybe a cafe or a restaurant along those lines. So really, it's your imagination that will lead you to your final destination. So we've got some flexible learning options here. We have our city campus, which primarily does some of our core subjects, but more importantly, we have our Manly campus, sometimes known as the Castle on the Hill, and we do online from there, and we also do obviously on site as well at the Manly campus. We've got a few different study patterns. We've got the accelerated version, which you can do in 2.3 years. We've also got the full-time version that you can do in 3 years, and the part-time version, which you sort of go at your own pace a little bit, which is 3 years plus. It's really up to you on how you want to follow on with that part-time one. So a typical study pattern might look a little bit like this. In your first year, there are 3 trimesters, and there are 4 subjects in each of those trimesters. For your second year, you have 1 trimester that has 4 subjects in it, and the other 2 trimesters are based on your industry training. And that's when we send you out into the industry to get some real life experience and to be able to put into practice some of the subjects you learnt in your first year. The third year, of course, is your final 2 trimesters, and this is where it starts to get a little serious at your 300 levels. And then, of course, you're out on your own, and you begin your career, and that's when you invite us to come and stay at your hotel. So why are we the best in business? I guess there's a couple of aspects that we would look at. One are the graduate capabilities, and of course, the graduate capabilities have been designed with consultation from our industry leaders and head academics. We've got our student portfolio, which looks at the key learning outcomes that contribute to your overall knowledge. Active learning, we say that we learn more by doing rather than actually watching. So a lot of the subjects will have a time frame where you're out in the industry, out in the field. Continual assessment based looks at the assessments over the period of the subject to make sure that your knowledge is being applied and accepted there as well. The backward course design looks at the way that the subject is designed based on the subject learning outcomes and the assessments, and then we design the subject back with the course content from there. So those graduate capabilities have been designed with future industry needs in mind. And you can see that we've got 7 there. Professional expertise, agile leadership, innovative problem solving, global citizenship, skilled collaboration, independent, self-management, and the final one there, technology and information literacy. And we see these as some of the key capabilities that you'll need once you graduate with your degree. So it's a little bit about future-proofing, I guess, looking for what you'll need once you graduate. And so the subjects are career-focused. All the subjects are based on getting you out there into work and are current, together with the work integrated learning experience. So we're looking at 90% of our students are employed in their field before they graduate. And so and this comes from a lot of the practical aspects of our subjects. So we have some wonderful simulations and wonderful platforms that are actually used out in the real world. Year 1 subjects, for example, might look a bit like this, where we've got 3 core subjects, business subjects, and 1 specialisation, and the same with the trimester 2. We've got the rooms division operations there, and I'm happy to say that ICMS is the first college to actually use the cloud-based Opera property management system in Australia. So we're using cutting-edge technology there. So when you do go to the hotels for your experience, you know exactly what they're talking about. Our trimester is similar there, except the specialisation, you've got a 200 level elective. The year 2, of course, as we said, you've got 2 of those trimesters when you're out and about in the workplace, and that's for 2 semesters, and you do 300 hours of each of those trimesters. For the 3rd trimester in your year 2, you have 3 specialised core there: food and beverage service, fire and mixology, and of course, gastronomy, matched in with one of the unlocking your leadership's potential, which is a core subject there. So really focusing some of those soft skills as well as your business management skills. And that's an important blend to have. Those 200 level electives, it really comes down to what sort of career path you're looking at and what you might be interested in. So there's a variety of subjects there, from site logistics through to entrepreneurship, that you might find interesting to do as your 200 level elective. A professional placement is getting you ready to go into these work placements. So we look at some interview skills. We look at things like the work placement behaviour, what sort of things you'll be expected to do when you get there. We work through some resume writing, and also we have a mock interview with a consultant as well to get you ready for the first stages of moving out into the workforce. So we have over 1,000 partners, and they don't want you, they need you. Let me tell you that skilled staff and skilled students are a very desirable thing at the moment, and will often lead to a future full-time position or casual position. So it's great to have that many partners amongst us. So you can see we've got Disney there, we've got Marriott, we've got Hilton. Of course, we can't put them all on one page, but there's certainly a lot there. Your third year gets a little serious. Obviously, we've got some deeper subjects there to go into. And then in your final year, we've got hotel management simulation and 300 level electives. The simulation is you running a hotel with a group, and you run that for 3 years, and you bring it back from the brink of bankruptcy into running nicely. So that's a great simulation with your team. Here are some of the 300 level electives, and again, you get to choose 3 of these over the final stage of your degree. And again, a lot more there to choose from, but you could choose something from marketing, you could look at airline management, you can look at, again, sports governance. It really depends on what sort of things you're looking for. So finally, how can you apply? Well, you can go apply direct, obviously, speak to admissions, early entry, there's alternative entry there, early offer. We've got school recommendation scheme, and we've got your UAC and preference your ICMS course within that. We've got 3 main intakes, and that's in February, May, and in August. And then we've got 4 smaller intakes, which are only just compressed courses, if you like, but the 3 major courses there. 3 major intakes, February, May, and August there. Of course, we've got other degrees as well. Hospitality is the most important, obviously, but you know, a bachelor's degree in international tourism works quite closely with the hospitality, and they work quite closely together. Without hospitality, you don't have tourism. Without tourism, you don't have hospitality. So that's really it for me. I hope you've learned a little bit in the short time that we had together. I hope to see you around campus shortly. But once you finish your degree, who knows where in the world you'll end up, as long as you let us know. So that's it for me.
Fantastic. Thank you, Glenn. That was very insightful. And obviously, you know, you've got quite a large level of experience around the world, and you touched upon things like how tourism and hospitality are quite closely aligned. And, you know, people sometimes struggle with which degree to pick, but you made a very clear decision. You know, that you've picked one, and hospitality is a brilliant career path. And once you get into it, as you've understood and what you've experienced, you've loved it since you got into it. So it's very inspiring to see. So thank you, and thank you for what you do around the corridors here every day, because the students love to see you around, and the team that work with you are world class. So thank you. So look, I'd love to hand over to Katrina now, who's obviously a current Bachelor of Hospitality Management student, and we can get a student perspective of what this looks like. So Katrina, over to you. I'd love to hear your story.
Thanks, Phil. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Katrina, and I'm currently a first-year student studying Bachelor of Hospitality Management here at ICMS. I first came across hospitality management when I was in year 5 and have considered multiple career paths during my secondary school years, from psychology to management consultation, events planning, and even musicom's position. I'd finally decided to choose hospitality management for 3 reasons: passion, diversity, and flexibility. I never wanted a job where every day was sitting in an office facing a computer. I wanted to be with people, offer customer service, help others create unforgettable experiences. I wanted every day to be slightly different and meet new people. All of these come with challenges. The context is always changing: new people, new places, new situations. But I personally believe that we can never stop learning. I always liked challenges and had a passion to help others. For me, that's what makes hospitality meaningful, and I've come to realize that passion can be quite compelling as well. Some of you might have noticed as well that I don't really have a strong accent. As Phil mentioned, I spent about 11 years studying overseas at an international school. I was lucky to have met so many people from different communities and wanted to continue learning and exploring new cultures from then on. I liked being surrounded with diversity and wanted the ability to travel and meet new people. And that's one of the great things that hospitality offers. Here's one thing that I want to emphasize. It's not just about hotels. There are a variety of job opportunities in many sectors that all fall under the hospitality umbrella. And the best part is that the soft skills we learn and develop, like leadership and communication skills, can be taken into different industries if I ever choose a slightly different career path. With a bachelor in hospitality management, I'd have the option and ability to switch with the comfort and security, knowing that I can always find something somewhere to do in the world. In the past 2 trimesters, I've completed 8 of my required subjects and found 2 in particular that I found most interesting. One of which being an introductory subject to the tourism, hospitality, and events industries, and another being a management subject about global citizenship and working interculturally. With all my subjects, I found that the personal industry experience that my lecturers have really helped my understanding and gave me insight into different segments of the industry. During the last 6 months, some of my highlights also include the activities during orientation week, student-run events, and career expos. One part that I want to mention in particular is the incredible support that ICMS offers. In the past month of lockdown, lecturers and the Student Success Center have looked out for students as we all transitioned back into online learning. There was one instance that made me realize how understanding our staff and lecturers are, and I'm grateful knowing that support is always available from people who genuinely care. In reflection now, I would say that the people I've met is what I enjoyed the most about student life so far. We have classes of people from different courses and sometimes in different stages of their degree. I've met students in their 2nd and 3rd year of college. Some are doing their industry training, and some who have completed their training and got employed by the organization. I've met staff who have all had different journeys in their careers and offer us their invaluable advice. In my perspective, the learning environment is just as important as the content and the classes. You can feel the passion, professionalism, and unconditional dedication in their attitude. And their example is what will guide and inspire our graduates when we embark on our own journeys. In my journey, I'm hoping to specialize in events management since I aspire to be a banquet manager and experience the industry in events management as well. I anticipate that I will likely move out of the events industry at some point and take on new challenges in different managerial roles, which is why I gravitated more towards a hospitality degree rather than events management. Doing my bachelor here in ICMS means that I have flexibility to carve my own path. I can choose electives in events-related subjects, as well as my hospitality specialization subjects, in order to incorporate both elements into my studies and get the best of both worlds. With that in my pocket, as well as the industry placement that I will complete next year, I will more likely be able to secure employment in work that I am truly passionate about, where both elements can coincide. But who knows, maybe I'll decide to do a double degree or find another specialization of interest along the way. After all, that's what the well-rounded course structures are about, helping students find the right path for them. The reason I chose ICMS can be summed up in one word, and I think that's community. During one of my school holidays, I came back to Sydney and went on a campus tour at the Manly campus. And luckily, it was a lovely day as well because the view was amazing. Personally, I knew I didn't really want to study at a large university, but rather in an institution where there were smaller classes that were more engaging and interactive, and a closer community of students, lecturers, and staff. And that's exactly what I found here at ICMS. And while this has already helped me shortlist my options, I was still on the fence between 3 institutions, and I kept going back and forth. Now, I mentioned earlier that I grew up in an international school, and with that being my largest influence, it was the deciding factor. Ultimately, I chose ICMS because of the international community. Obviously, it's a little different at the moment because many of our international students are still overseas. And I think I can speak for many of us that we can't wait until it is safe for everyone to be back. Nonetheless, it's been an amazing experience so far, and definitely a choice I'm glad I made. I really appreciate how welcoming everyone in this community is, and it made it very easy to settle in. We've had the opportunity today to meet some of the people that make up the ICMS community, and I hope my speech today has given you a little bit more insight to my experience at ICMS. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Katrina. And that definitely does give us more insight into your experience of ICMS. And it seems like an incredible journey you've had up until now. And obviously, hopefully it inspires other people in a similar situation to you. And I know you weren't a local Northern Beaches enrollment, even a domestic student, but I think your story will resonate even with our regional students or interstate students, particularly who have to make the move to campus or make the move to the local area to study. And so yeah, thank you for giving that insight. I really appreciate it. So guys, we have a few questions coming through here on the live chat. So I'm just going to pass them on to you and sort of maybe Katrina, I think the first one here might be the most applicable for you, but you spoke here about you're obviously studying hospitality, but you have a interest in event management as well. So how did you sort of get the mix between both in terms of understanding what you want to do, and why did you pick hospitality over events?
I picked hospitality over events because for me, the jobs that I am more interested in are more service related. So I wanted to focus on customer service. And like Glenn mentioned as well in his speech, that's one of the core elements of the hospitality sector. And with the degree in ICMS, I am able to incorporate events related subjects into my course. So with that part of my course structure, I am able to get both elements, and it actually makes it work because of the jobs that I want to get.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, that's quite clever of you, obviously, to take the time to look ahead and see where you want to go. So you knew at the start, where you wanted to enter, and then the pathway from there is obviously a bit clearer for you. So that's quite insightful. Thank you, Glenn. We have a question here about the elective process. Obviously, we put up a couple of slides around the electives. Maybe can you just go into some detail about maybe how many electives the students get to pick? The question specifically is, there were a lot of electives on those lists. Which ones can I pick? So I think maybe if we can maybe advise how many at each level we get, that maybe provide some context.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Phil. Yeah, very, very good question. For hospitality, you get to choose one 200 level elective. So for your first year, pretty much the subjects are pretty much set for you. It just depends on what range you do them in or what time frame. But the 200 elective is the first one that we have. And so really you can choose any of the subjects that are going at the college at the time for your 200 level. So if you've got an interest in perhaps hospitality and sport or marketing within hotels or entrepreneurship, for example, if you're looking at opening up your own business, those subjects are really handy to give you some dynamics as well. And as Katrina was saying a little earlier, she has an interest in events. So she could have chosen a 200 an event elective, for example, to give her some experience in the event sector also, site logistics and things like that as well. And then in the 300 level, your last year, you get three 300 level electives. And so again, this allows you to choose the subjects that you want, because you've been at the college now for coming into 3 years. So you may have developed some other interests as well. So it also helps you sort of look not only in the future of work, but also too for future of education. If you're thinking about doing a master's degree, you could diversify from hospitality, because it's such a subject that provides everything, practical and business management, you're able to move into different sectors from there as well. So.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yes, thank you very much. And this, Glenn, is probably a follow-on question for you as well. This question says from John, says, I want one day to start my own restaurant. Is a Bachelor of Hospitality Management the best degree for me, or a Bachelor of Business?
Look, I would suggest the Bachelor of Hospitality Management, not because I'm biased at all, Phil, but because you do a lot of the business subjects as well, because we've structured it so you're moving into more of a management position. So we provide a lot of business subjects plus a lot of specialization core. So for example, your revenue management, if you're looking at running your own restaurant, for example, you would want to look at revenue management. We have international restaurant concepts as an elective. So that looks at designing restaurants based on different concepts, and the experience economy is another one as well. So how do we create the experience for our customers in those restaurants? That's a great question. I'm a chef by trade, as you know, Phil, and if I had the choice when I was running my restaurants, I would definitely do the hospitality management simply because of its diverseness. Business is just, I don't want to down business, but business is just business.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And you obviously, if you have a flair or a passion, or even at this age, a drive to have a restaurant, for example, I would agree with you. I would suggest hospitality would be the one to go for, and the business degree is a little bit more general for someone who may be still finding out what they want to do. They want to start up maybe a business themselves, but don't know in what niche yet. So I would agree with your perspective. Yeah,
it's good to understand the basics, particularly when you're running your own restaurant. The service skills, and have those skills so you can pass them on to your staff as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's always a lot nicer when your boss knows what they're asking you to do as well. So yeah,
absolutely,
that's very true. Katrina, this question I think would be best placed for you to answer. I'm nervous moving to Sydney. I don't know if this person is interstate or overseas or regional New South Wales, but I'm nervous moving to Sydney. Should I be nervous about this move or not? So, Katrina, you've obviously made quite a significant move in your life, Shanghai to Sydney, or Manly more specifically. What's your advice for this person?
So I would say, obviously, there are always going to be some nerves about moving. It's a big change. For me, I had family here, so it was a little easier to settle in. But also, what I was nervous about was moving from high school to college. And I think that transition was really easy at ICMS because everyone's so welcoming and the community just makes you feel like you're already part of the community and you've been there for a while. I think because it's so easy to settle in, that it really calms my nerves a lot more. And even if you're new and you're not local, you can always find people to help you, settle in, find places to go, places to eat, all of that as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's very true. And thank you for your insight. I appreciate that. And guys, this is the last question, but I'm going to get you both to answer it. Maybe Glenn first, then Katrina. But if you have one piece of advice for students looking to start in February 2022, what would that be, Glenn?
I would say, absolutely. Line up. Hospitality has got a really strong future. And we're going to have lots of positions coming up and lots of opportunities to move quickly through the ranks as well. So getting in now, prepared for the big comeback as such, is really advisable because that's what everyone does. Everyone likes hospitality. They like going out to eat. They like going on holidays. They like cafes. And This is not going to change, Phil. So let's get as many qualified people as we can out there. And I would say, go for it.
Yeah, and that's a very good point you make. People might be a little bit nervous about employment at the moment, but as you said, the industry is screaming out for people to get a job in that space, which is quite interesting. But also to keep in mind that this pandemic won't last forever, and by the time students start and then finish their degree, roughly 3 years from now, the industry will have had a huge rebound and everything will be back to normal. We're very confident. That's a good point you make. Thank you. So Katrina, what would your insight be, your pearl of wisdom?
So I think my insight would be more student-based. I would definitely say to make the most out of your time. So when you come into uni or college, I would say take initiative and make the most of your time and be open-minded, because you can try to get a lot of the student life and experiences in the first term and even the first year, meeting new people and being open to new ideas and new things in general.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's really wise. And obviously, seeing your journey so far, you're only into your first year here at ICMS, but you have a lot of stories to tell and a great experience to pass on. So yeah, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that today. So I think Glenn and Katrina, that wraps up our session this afternoon. I really appreciate both of your time, particularly on a Sunday, as you said before, Glenn. But I know I've found what you've said to be very interesting, and I'm sure everyone who's been watching online has today. So Glenn and Katrina, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure, Phil.
Thank you.
So for everyone watching online, thank you very much for joining us today in the hospitality session at our Open Day 2021. It's been fantastic having you join us, and thank you for all the questions coming through. So just a couple of things to wrap up with for you so you know the next steps. Firstly, early entry or alternate entry. So early entry, leadership and elite athlete. If you are going through any of those pathways or wish to go through any of those pathways, make sure you jump in, because those close on the 8th of September. So we know trials have been moved around a lot this year, but don't stress. We will be factoring that into the process. We know it's not in your control, and we'll be very flexible in making sure when and how we get your results. We'll also look at your other year 12 marks plus year 11 if we need to. So don't stress about that. We know you're more than a number, and we'll factor that in. Secondly is your UAC preferences. So if you don't have a UAC account now and you are going to go through UAC, make sure you jump in today to make your account, and make sure ICMS is listed number one, because given our size and also the fact that this is the biggest year 12 cohort graduating in 10 to 15 years, the demand will be bigger than normal, and we often don't get below our first preferences anyway. So I just don't want you missing out on a place because you didn't update your preferences. If you already have a UAC account, it's locked until the 12th of August. They're doing processing at the moment for some other things, so you can't jump in to update it until the 12th of August, but make sure you do that so you don't miss out on a place here at ICMS. And finally, if there are any questions that come to mind in the next 5 or 10 minutes, our live chat team will be online for another 5 minutes. So make sure you jump there, little red button on the screen today to ask your questions, and we'll get back to you straight away. Once again, thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Katrina. It's been a pleasure having you both here today. I've really enjoyed your company. And thank you for joining us online today in our hospitality session for Open Day 2021. Have a great afternoon, and thank you.